Hi everybody, my name is Nathan Beel and I'd like to show you how you can use artificial intelligence to help moderate your assessments and check your assessment tasks to make sure that there's no mistakes in them, as well as that they're as easy as possible for students to understand. So the first step is to find your artificial intelligence that is accepted within your organization, and so that you're not sending organizational data outside of the organization. And in my case, I'm going to use Copilot, which is Microsoft, and that's connected with my organizational account. So I'm going to share my screen now and show you my screen, but yours might look different if you're using a different account. Okay, so here's the, so for me, I go through the teams.microsoft thing, and then I'm logged in with my work account. So I'm going to now add a file. So now I'm going to add a file which I want it to check. I found the document and I'm going to drag it onto, this is a task sheet, and which includes the marking criteria. So I've added it here by dragging and dropping it. And now I'm going to ask, please critically review this attached assessment task and rubric and find mistakes and make suggestions for improvements. Okay. So fairly simple task. I'm trying to let it know exactly what I want it to do. And so I'm going to press enter, or I'll press this one today. Okay, so now it's going through this document and providing me some recommendations. So it's given me some strengths. Thanks. The task is well structured with detailed instructions and essay components. The rubric is comprehensive, it aligns well with the course objectives. And we've got an AI guidance for students on there as well. And the rubric provides nuanced descriptors across performance levels, which supports transparent fair grading. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. And the next part, we have issues and suggestions for improvements. And unfortunately, this is much longer, but isn't it great that I get to see these now and make any adjustments to the document before I open up for students. So this is quite a helpful thing for me. So here, redundancy and repetition. Several sections repeat similar ideas multiple times. Suggestions: streamline the task description to avoid redundancy. For example, combine the rationale and topic description into a more concise overview. And what I could do next, but I won't do it now, but what I could do next is feed that. I could ask it to please provide me some text which does this. So please solve this problem for me, the redundancy problem. Offer me some text. And like for me, I generally don't copy and paste from my AI because it's not me. It's not my style of writing. For me, I just like to write in my style of writing. But it gives me ideas, and it gives me an idea as to how I might do it. And then I'll obviously craft it the way I see fit. Or I might not be satisfied with this idea, and I think to myself, no, actually the way it currently is fine. Okay, ambiguity in AI use policy. Well, that's a university level issue within my university. That's so maybe I could feed that back to learning and teaching unit and say here's and see if it does provide better examples. Formatting instructions, okay. Formatting instructions are scattered and somewhat rigid. No space between paragraphs or headings may conflict with accessibility and readability standards. So it's giving me some standards in terms of accessibility things, which I hadn't really considered a lot of when I was designing this assessment. So that's good to reflect on. Rubric language complexity. Some rubric descriptors are overly complex and verbose, inspirational, innovative, and authoritative. Evidence of intellectual rigor. Simplify the language. So again, I can feed those areas so I can ask it for specific examples and then ask it for some example rewrites and just compare mine with with its suggestions and see whether it improves on it for clarity or whether I stick with my own. Reference requirements. Okay, so here it's not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's sort of saying guidance will be helpful, additional guidance. So that's a really good suggestion because students may not necessarily recognize what the exact sort of sources or the type of sources that we think are good quality. Rubric alignment with task. Okay, rubric categories, description, application, not exactly mirrored. Okay, that's a really good one. So there's language I've used in the rubric that may not fully align with the task itself. So I'll need to double check that. And again, I can ask AI, because it's got the document in there, I can say, give me examples of the rubric alignment in a task. So I can do a Control F to find this word and then this word and see whether this is the only one or there might be additional ones in there. Missing word count penalty policy. Okay, so here it is. It's like what happens when students go over the word limit. And certainly for my policy, I simply stop reading after 10%. So I need to write that on this document if it's not already there. I suspect it probably isn't, otherwise it would have probably picked up on that. Suggested enhancements, add a sample thesis statement or outline to guide students. Rubric usability, provide a simplified version. AI use, include a shorter FAQ or flow chart on acceptable AI use. Okay, great. Formatting, offer a downloadable APA 7 template. Okay, I'd never thought of that, but hey, that's a really good idea. Support, link to writing services and academic skills workshops. Okay, really good. I'm happy with that. Now, I want to give it a tick, but I believe the understanding of when you give ticks is it sends the stuff back to Microsoft to check out. And given that this has got some intellectual property sort of issue there, it's probably best not to do that. So I can just send it warm vibes from this. So I can ask an addition. So would you like me to rewrite or redesign this task sheet and rubric into a more student-friendly format or provide a checklist version for easier use? So it's giving me a suggestion on something else I can ask it to do. But yeah, look, treat Copilot or the other versions of AI, such as Gemini or Claude or others, which you might be using. And obviously it needs to be, if it's using intellectually protected material, it needs to be linked with your company and abiding by company guidelines. But utilize it as an academic assistant or a teaching assistant so that you're the one you're the one putting your name on the document. So it's like you're responsible for it, but it's certainly like you consulting colleagues say, hey, can you proofread this? Can you check this and give me some feedback? It's virtually what you're doing when you're using AI. Okay, so yeah, hopefully this has been helpful. And I'd never really thought about using it for assessments before, to check assessments, but I'm really impressed so far with what it's given me in some of the assessments I've run through today. Okay, I hope this was helpful and all the best with your assessment checks. Bye.